Today, with the summer outdoor months upon us, we sit down with woodworking expert Bob Vila to show us and the Atlanta Hawks how to build a bench.
And a special visit from fire safety expert Matthew Dellavedova, who reminds us that even if you don't see smoke, stop, drop, and roll.
It's time to wake up, NBA! Welcome to Wake Up NBA, brought to you by the Microsoft Surface. That is Ryan. My name is Dan. We've got the big stories, little stories, and big questions of the NBA playoffs, and we've got a segment with Roger and Seth that you're going to want to see. It is powerful stuff. Ryan, what to you, on the sort of verge of the NBA Finals now, is your big story? So,
we're all looking at this Rockets-Warriors game and sort of saying, okay, should Steph Curry have gone back in?
Right.
What's his health going to be like? I think the
question... really nasty fall.
Yeah, and I think the issue related to that, but whether or not Steph Curry is fine, a little banged up, going to miss extended time, Klay Thompson has been very inconsistent in this series.
Yes.
You know, he has a pretty nice night last night, hits a bunch of shots from beyond the arc, has 24 points, but even most of his damage only came in the second quarter of that game.
Right.
Like, he has, I think, 8 points in the second half of this game where, you know, Golden State kept coming close and whittling down the lead, and he's just not part of that offensively.
He's not a take over the game type at this point, even though he is an all-NBA caliber talent.
Right.
He doesn't seem like that person that is ready or willing, or at least last night, to shoulder that load when they very clearly needed it.
And at no point in this series have you said, okay, Klay Thompson went out there.
He's taken over.
And he just bombed them for 4 straight quarters. He can give you a really dominant stretch, but then he also follows it up with a stretch where you're like, okay, he missed 3 shots and they put in Andre Iguodala.
Right, and not even just the Steph injury as well. Bogut clearly shaken up after his bow to the face. So I like that bow to the face.
I know you did there.
All right, my big story right now, moving forward, is LeBron and his, I guess, consistent efficiency, which seems sort of like a redundant turn of phrase.
It sounds like a Phil Collins album that got forgotten from 1992.
But obviously he starts 0 for 10 from the floor and then finishes, I think, 14 of 27 and 38 points and finishes with an extraordinarily impressive triple-double. But when you look at his numbers, both in this series, the postseason as a whole, especially compared to last year when he was asked to play on the block a lot more, this year it seems to be a lot more pick-and-roll stuff where he just sort of gets by the first guy, jumps at the free throw line, and like, okay, I'm frozen in midair like Neo, and I'm going to make a decision. And he's been turning the ball over. He's been impressively bad from the three-point line, even with the game he had.
Not afraid to take the three.
Not afraid to take them, but he's something at like 16% for the postseason. He goes 1 of 6 or something in Game 3. So I'm curious, because if we're going to move Cleveland into the final, which I think is fair to do right now with Korver's injury and Horford and everything going on with Atlanta and how shallow they are, it'll be interesting for me to see, especially with Kyrie Irving and his injury, if LeBron can be the post-10 misses LeBron from Game 3. Because if he's not efficient, it seems to me that with as good as Houston and Golden State's defenses are, I mean, it seems fair to say Golden State, but either one of those defenses are, if he's turning the ball over a ton, if he's starting games off that frigidly, then those are teams that go, oh, we're up 21.
Oh, look, we've taken advantage of this.
We're up, like, so... That, to me, worries me.
So my small story dovetails off of that. A big reason why that hasn't really bitten Cleveland in this series is because they've been killing Atlanta on the offensive boards. And so, you know, you miss these shots. Okay, we still got the ball. Miss another shot. Yeah, we still got the ball. And what I think sticks out there is that Paul Millsap has just had such a frustrating series. He had a pretty nice Game 3 for the Hawks. It really showed up big after Al Horford got thrown out of that game. But overall, it's just been weird to see a player who had put together such a nice season, an all-star season, coming into a contract, you know, he's going to be a free agent coming up, and just on defense, rebounding, shooting efficiency, other than the free throw line, where he's still been very good, whenever they're asking him to do something tough, he doesn't look like all-star Paul Millsap. And that's just, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to make of that. I don't know if going into free agency, teams are going to look at that and say, okay, yeah, he did really well going against a, you know, not terribly impressive Eastern Conference all year. But when it came down to it, even in that Washington series, he had some stretches where it was just like, Paul Millsap, where have you gone?
And that actually goes into my small story. Well, we're just going right back and forth.
It's like doubles tennis.
Don't even need to see it. It's the bigs right now. To me, the small story is the bigs, and specifically with Houston, but it goes to show that you're only as good as your front court is. And it's very nice if you have James Harden scoring 45. It's very nice if you have LeBron putting up a triple-double. But the big thing is Tristan Thompson's had a great series. Timothy Mozgov has been a fourth. Timothy, excuse me. So with Houston specifically and how uncomfortable they can make Golden State moving forward, you see how much better they are when, one, Josh Smith has an efficient game. Trevor Ariza has a good game. Even though Dwight hasn't been perfect, he's still filling up the stat sheet. He's a presence.
As long as he's not getting
he's smashing faces.
As long as he's not getting boxed out by Steph Curry.
As long as he's not. Well, that was the big thing. Steph Curry goes out. Dwight Howard finally has a lane to get some rebounds.
Finally some room to work.
Yes, but it really is. And if Golden State gives up another game and all of a sudden it goes to 6 games, it's a momentum failure on Golden State's part because as you see, Bogut scores no points, obviously affected by the elbow to the face, and Trevor Ariza has a great game with 17 points. Josh Smith has a very nice game with 20. So Houston has the pace and they have the size. Terrence Jones coming off the bench, they become that much more impressive when they're all hitting down low. So what to you is a big question now moving forward?
I have no answer for it, but I don't know how flagrant fouls should be treated going forward in the playoffs.
Josh Smith, the newest.
We've seen JR, we've seen Dwight, and we've seen Horford all essentially do the same move in some different part of the court. And the penalties were totally different for all of them. And you know, it's one thing when this happens in a series where a team's already in a hole and you sort of feel like, okay, we're playing out the series, but as of right now, everybody says it's going to be Golden State. Cleveland, no reason to think otherwise. If this happens in, like, Game 2 of the finals, if Dwight Howard throws an elbow and all of a sudden that's a flagrant 2, or all of a sudden it's just a technical foul, it's not even a flagrant 1, that adds this almost like chaos element where we talk about matchups and we talk about who's playing well, who's not. But to the extent the refs are making judgment calls that feel very inconsistent, it's not so much that I care if they call it, you know, on the side of, you know, we're not having any of it,
nonsense,
or we're letting him play, and unless you really like punch somebody in the face for throwing you out. It just, there's no way to know going in, okay, that's a 1, that's a 2, that's neither.
Right, and there's the weird thing where it's a subjective thing. We've seen it in big series happen before with Ori and Amari coming off the bench and all this, so that affects series. So that's going to be extraordinarily interesting, especially with how physical the players are in it that are still left. My big story right now is a player who's been on the bench, not for disciplinary reasons, but for health reasons, Kyrie Irving. And how much his injured hip, leg, lower extremity situation will affect Cleveland moving forward, either with Golden State or with Houston, provided that they get by. And it's never a fine assumption to assume. But to see what Kyrie Irving can give Cleveland, take that ball handling load off of LeBron, let LeBron sort of freelance a little bit more without the ball, because these are two real, I mean, Golden State's the best defense in the league. Houston, much much improved from last season this year. And Kyrie Irving and the lack of playmakers, the Dellavedova matchup becomes a lot more exciting for whoever they play in the finals than Kyrie, if Kyrie is even at like 75%.
So, although it should be noted that as much as we, you know, have been a little bit down on LeBron and people in general, hello Internet, we're happy to be down on LeBron. If he can drag this team to the finals without Kevin Love and Kyrie, that's pretty impressive.
The degree of difficulty involved.
Like, we're going to look back and say, yeah, he had Shump and Mozgov.
J.R. Smith,
clearly had
like,
the best
LeBron
players around
and, like,
him.
the 2011 Knicks are making the finals.
Which is what the Knicks wanted all along, actually.
Oh, wow.
Damn it!
That is depressing. So on that note, we now go to our fun segment, Where in the World, with Roger and Seth, where they profile an eliminated playoff player. Ooh, that was good English on my part. I like that. They've lacked in the research department these past few weeks. They always bring the charm. Roger and Seth, how you guys doing?
Thanks, Dan and Ryan. This time around, we decided to research everybody in the NBA and let you guys pick. So name any name and we're ready.
Seth researched the Western Conference. I researched the Eastern Conference. Name anyone. Bring it.
Anyone.
Okay, yeah, that sounds great. Let's go out to Portland. He's obviously facing an interesting free agent period. What's going on with LaMarcus Aldridge these days?
LaMarcus Aldridge?
Oh, God. Why'd you have to say LaMarcus Aldridge? Come on, guys.
Guys, I'm not sure I quite understand. You said everybody in the Eastern and Western Conference. LaMarcus Aldridge is a huge name. How are you not prepared for this?
Guys, come on, what the hell? Everyone knows that if you say LaMarcus Aldridge to Seth, he will start crying. The last time he heard the name LaMarcus Aldridge, he went up into a tree. And we couldn't get him down for 4 hours. Look at what you've done. God. End the segment. Cut the cameras.
All right. I guess sorry? I feel weirdly bad now? Do I have to apologize? Did I do something?
I think so. We definitely did. Let's get him a present.
We should.
Let's take him to Build-A-Bear.
Ooh, that will cheer him up.
We're taking you to Build-A-Bear, buddy.
He has a whole room of Build-A-Bears.
We're probably going to take Dwight Howard to Build-A-Bear, too.
Oh, he would love that, too. All right. Thank you, everybody, for watching Wake Up NBA, presented by the Microsoft Surface. We're here each and every week during the playoffs. We'll see you next week.